Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Bob.
Everyone minded their own business, you know. It's just he was he was a loudmouth, so you always knew him. And then because of the guys I was around, he would always come and want to talk to me, and like I was his buddy and shit. And you can get filled up with Sammy real quick and
Keep my
want to
mouth
chase him,
shut.
you
My
know.
mouth shut.
Yeah.
Mouth shut.
My mouth shut.
We were talking about a situation. You said he was taking advantage of some younger inmates that were in there.
Oh yeah, these two guys they were loaded. They had a lot of money. When I say a lot, I mean hundreds of millions of dollars. Sammy would, these are young kids, never been in trouble in their lives, and lived like kings, So going from that to prison and bam, they smack right into Sammy the Bull, So they're scared, but they're also like, like, wow, this is Sammy the Bull. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But he started getting them to bring tobacco and coke in, through the visiting room. And I was telling him, I said, Sam, why are you going to jeopardize these kids, man? They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Why would you do that? And then, and he just, he'd sneak them he'd roll these little cigarettes with Bible paper. That's what he'd use. He'd crinkle up Bible paper and use it as rolling papers. And,
Was he known to do drugs a lot?
He'd snort coke, and I know that he liked weed. He used to talk about that, but I mean, I wasn't involved with any of that shit with him, and I just, he was like a magnet for heat,
Yeah. They were on him every day, probably.
Right. And in any incident that happened, it was never his fault. It was always someone else's,
Yeah.
So, yeah, he just, he got no respect for anybody. It's all about himself. He's all about money. It's not, he's not compassionate. I mean, his little bullshit about drug addiction and blah, blah, blah. Come on, he's a fraud. I mean, he's 100% phony motherfucker. He doesn't care about nobody. He didn't talk to his daughter for years because she was with a black guy. And but as soon as she got on this Mob Wives, I think that was the show. As soon as she started getting popular, bam, he wanted her to come visit, and he started talking to her on the phone, and what can you do? He's always wanting to talk to producers, and what can you do for me? And I mean, it was like, it's like, come on, man. Yeah.
Some people are just like that, man.
And, yeah.
I'm positive he was not happy about that.
Oh no, his daughter?
Yeah.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't at all. No, he'd talk about it all the time, he says, oh, it disgusts me and all this bullshit, Nobody wants to hear that shit. Who wants to hear him whining?
Yeah, like he's like a big child. It seems like he cries a lot when he goes on his channel.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. Any motherfucker that's going to involve his son and daughter in illegal activities is a fucking scumbag. And that's the bottom line. I mean, how are you going to involve your wife, your daughter, and your son and get them all indicted? I mean, it's crazy.
After you get out of the trouble you were in before.
Right. Yeah, and it's just insane. It's just because he wanted to be the big shot, and wanted to, start his own gang, the Devil Dogs.
He's still trying to do the same shit, man. I believe he still has his own mafia.
Yeah, the little gangsters, he calls them.
Yeah, Schmiegel is the boss, right?
Yeah, he's the boss. He's the boss. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be crazies that would even, give him the time of day, and believe some of this shit that he's saying. And I understand, I guess, the public believe in it because they don't know how prison is or how it works inside. So they don't, they're going to believe whatever the guy says. I mean, that's because they don't know anything else. But if they, lived a day in my life in prison, they'd see right through him, then
sure,
it's a shame.
So before you were in jail, or in prison with Sammy the Bull, how were these guys like Vic Musso and all the bosses? How did they think about Sammy? Because you were around that area when he cooperated, right? You were in
Yeah,
prison with these
yeah,
guys.
he was a piece. They knew he was a piece of shit. You know, uh, like Vic would never go to a. He'd always send gas pipe to talk to him because Vic didn't want to have nothing to do with him. You know, he thought the guy was a fucking retard. Excuse me, I don't want to say that word, but that's what he would say. You know.
Hey
I
man,
mean, yeah, he didn't want to. He didn't want to. You know, he didn't give him the time of day. Uh, but yeah, no, all the guys I was around, they're all, we're all, pretty good guys. I mean, laid back, like Barney Palermo. He real quiet, respectful. I used to, chat with him and while we were in the law library and, do some research with him. And uh,
how is
yeah,
he in person? Laid back? Or are they like real laid back
yeah.
gentlemen?
Oh yeah. I mean, like Vic is a good man, very respectful, very polite to everyone. Uh, he doesn't see race. He doesn't, he's just a nice guy to everyone. John Riggy from your area, uh, politest man I ever met in my life. This guy was he was a real nice person. I had met his family and, in the visiting room and all of them just real nice people. So, I mean, the stories you read in papers or hear in the news, I mean, and who knows? I mean, I don't know. They could have butchered 100 people. I don't know. But when I was with them and incarcerated, they were very upstanding and good guys. All of them. I mean, all of them. Fat Tony Salerno, Tony Ducks, Christy Tick. I mean, all these guys are just very polite.
What about Nicky
So
Scarfo? When's the first time you came across Nicky Scarfo?
when he got out of, I believe it was ADX, they had sent him to Atlanta from ADX, and yeah, I was introduced to him. You know, and yeah, little skinny old fella, old Nicky. He,
With a
he
Napoleon complex. Do you think he has a Napoleon complex?
No, I don't. I don't think he does. Not my definition of Napoleon complex. I don't think he does. I mean, I mean, he's Nicky Scarfo. That's I mean, he doesn't have to have a Napoleon complex.
Yeah, he's passed away now.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, yeah. It's too bad.
Who are some of the other people that were locked up with you from Philadelphia?
Sal Merlino, Skinny Joy's dad, another guy. He was real quiet. Would spend a lot of time in a cell reading books. Uh, oh, that lying piece of shit, uh, Bobby fucking ass white fucking Louisi. I don't know if you know him.
What I do know him.
Oh, sorry. I
He's been
feel sorry for you.
he's been caught in a bunch of lies, man.
Well,
And
he lied on me. He lied on me bad.
do you want to tell me
Uh,
the story of what happened when you were locked up with Mister Luisi?
well, first of all, he was I don't know how to even put it. He was a filthy guy. I mean he was just he could take a shower, get dressed, and come out of his cell, and he looked dumpy and just dirty. He was just hair always out of place. I mean, just he looked like a nightmare. And but yeah, he would act like he was somebody, but he'd never go to. I don't believe that he one time spoke to Vic the entire time he was there, not once. You know, nobody wanted to mess with him.
Yeah,
Uh, I mean, and I don't know if it's true, but allegedly he paid Skinny Joy to get a button. So
I've heard that on the streets.
yeah,
That's the
anybody that would give him a button is a fool. And I don't know this guy Skinny Joy. I know who he is, but if he actually did that I mean, come on, man. I mean, this guy. He involved me in 3 murders in Philadelphia, and I was in prison. I mean, are you a serious guy? Come on, man.
how did he try to do that?
Just talking, and he put it in his little bullshit book. He put in this whole, Nikki, gets out of ADX. Nikki thinks he's still the boss, and how, there's certain rules that you have to follow and so on and so forth. Like a boss, can't be dethroned or killed or anything like that. He's the boss for life, right? Unless this group of guys all agree. So he says that he's still the boss, and so he comes to me because he had heard that I had this guy Vic's ear and wanted me to talk to Vic about it. And I'm like,
how come he didn't just go right to Vic?
Vic don't talk to nobody. He don't talk to the wall. So I mean, it takes a Vic's pretty closed mouth when it comes to anything that pertains to organized crime and things like that.
Yeah. So what exactly did Nicky Scarfo want you to say to Vic?
Wanted me to say that Vic. He wanted me to explain to him that Nicky's still the boss, and that Skinny Joey is there illegally, and that he wants help to secure his position.
Mm-hmm.
And he sent word to Carmine Gigante and said that, and I don't know if this is true or not, but he said that Carmine agreed with him, and Vic agreed with him. So that got back to Skinny Joey, I guess. I mean, they had Mike Tassetta, who was the underboss of the Lucchese's in Jersey, and I think he sent word to Skinny Joey, and they wanted to do some negotiating and talking, and but Nicky, he wanted to kill everybody. That's all Nicky wanted to do.
Yeah, he said he wanted to just kill everybody in
Yeah,
the street.
yeah. Nicky's legitimate. I mean, he's like 5'3", but he's a legitimate tough guy. I mean, he he was. I think that he was probably, out of everyone that I've ever met, was probably. I mean, you could feel the dangerousness, or that the potential of danger with him.
Yeah.
Even though he weighed 80 pounds.
He killed a guy with a butter knife, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it. I mean, yeah,
He
he's
did.
yeah.
In a diner in front of everybody. Stuck it right through his neck.
Yeah, he's that type of guy, I'm sure. Yeah, but he was always very cordial, very respectful. And I got along with all of them. Yeah, I got along with all of them. I mean, I got close to to a lot of them, and I haven't, I've never talked disparagingly about them. They're all very respectful.
Let's talk about Joey Testa.
Oh, what about Joey?
So, you were in the prison when this helicopter incident happened, right?
No, I wasn't in the prison when that happened.
No, you were in prison when this.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So you want to explain to the people out there what took place with the helicopter? What I'm even talking about?
Oh, they tried to get Joey Testa involved in a plot to escape, and he was locked down because of it. He was under investigation for several months in the hole. They had found a helicopter, or they had, the helicopter was found in Indiana, Terre Haute, Indiana, and the pilot, and I believe they allowed it to take off or land. They had informants telling the feds what was going on before it happened, so they were already aware of it, and they let it mostly play out. But then they arrested, they charged 3 or 4 people in it, and I don't think they ever officially charged Joey, but Joey had, Joey was going to go.
Didn't the helicopter clip the barbed wire and crash?
I don't know if that was in Terre Haute or if that was in with Ben Kramer out in Florida.
It was Ben Kramer was the same person, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that it happened like that in Terre Haute, but it did in Florida. Yeah, the pilot hit the razor wire and crashed.
That's wild, man.
Yeah, Ben Kramer, he had a lot of cash, and he's a drug smuggler or drug dealer, and boat. He was a boat builder. He sold cigarette boats to like the Coast Guard and the Miami Vice type boats.
Yeah.
He had a boat yard that built them. At the same time, he made his boats a little bit faster so he could smuggle marijuana in. I mean, his case is like, I mean, some outrageous, like 800,000 pounds of marijuana or something like that.
It's insane. He's
Yeah,
still in prison, right?
yeah, him, and then they had another. He had a co-defendant, Rick Wayne. He was a national funny car champion, and Randy Lanier, I think he was the 1985 Rookie of the Year for Indianapolis 500. He had a lot of big name co-defendants.
That's
Yeah,
insane, man.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, yeah, for real.
Damn. There's so many stories you have.
Yeah, yeah, I probably do.
For
But
real.
yeah,
Like,
no, yeah, but me and Vic were real close. I was real close with Vic. Good guy. He didn't like gas pipe. You know,
what's some of the stuff he would say about gas pipe?
no, it just sickened him. I mean, it sickened him because I mean, he was like his brother. I mean, they were very close, and for him, I mean, at the end, I mean, he thought that gas pipe was the one that set him up to get caught. They were on the lam, and he would, they had certain times and phone numbers where they would go to a payphone so they could communicate, and he had a time set up in a shopping center and went to the payphone, and there he looked up and he seen this female, and she looked suspicious, but she was an FBI agent.